So, one question I'm sure a lot of folks would want to know the answer to is, Tony Khan has come out and flat out said that he's not letting anybody go from the contract. Now, that might be misinterpreted in some ways to kind of indicate that Tony Khan, doesn't care what the talent wants and would, just rather let them stay miserable, with nothing to do in AEW. I mean, the only selling point he would give them is, hey, with me, you could still work other, promotions, other companies and stuff, and that is true. But, for Tony to say that in a way that, hey, I'm not going to let anybody out of the contract, again, whether you misinterpret, what he actually said or you don't, it doesn't speak very good volumes for him. Because if somebody's not happy there, or they believe and feel they're not being utilized properly, then why keep them around? Why keep them around, and just not do anything with them? And the only thing you allow them to do is work outside with other promotions. Why not just let them go? Why not just let them, do their own thing? Or even, maybe, potentially go back to the company that they made a name for themselves in. And it's real simple. It's for that very reason. You see, Tony knows that if he lets someone like an Andrade go, or he lets somebody like a Malachi, go, or a Buddy Matthews, or whoever comes out in the future and says, hey, I want out of AEW, I don't feel like I'm, going, anywhere fast, and, I want to try to go back to, WWE because I feel I might get a better opportunity now than I did previously. If somebody feels that way, and you're someone like Tony Khan that's supposed to be about the fans, and you're supposed to be about the wrestlers, you're supposed to, not, be against them but for them. If you're Tony Khan, then you listen to what they have to say, and if you feel like, okay, I can't convince you otherwise, here you go, you can leave, then I would do it. I would do it because here's the thing. Tony TK is getting a lot of criticism on him, as of late. Not just because of what happened after All Out, but, for the reason I mentioned here, for the fact that he would acknowledge other people's contracts of how long he has them locked in for, stuff like that, even if they don't want that to be known. He's kind of become very polarizing, in just the past year or so. And for him to come out and say he would not let anybody go, or at least somewhat say that to an extent, that he would not let anybody go, again, it doesn't make him or his company look good. Because if somebody feels like they're not being utilized the way they thought they would, then if you're Tony Khan, you should just, let them go. Just let them go, and if, if they, can't find satisfaction, where they want to go or go back to, then hey, maybe they can get a release there and they can head back to you. That's the silver lining, that hey, if they can't achieve what they hope to achieve, and they find a way to get out of that, they can always come back to you and say, hey, I was wrong. Maybe I had it better here. But if Tony Khan, is determined not to let anybody go out of the contracts until at least they officially expire and everything, then it just validates what some people feel about Tony Khan and what he really is. And that is the fact that he is a fan. He is a fan more so than a boss. Now, true, he has shown more of a take charge kind of thing by going in different directions, that nobody would expect. Like, with Hangman Page getting a shot against Jon Moxley and such. Hangman Page, who was called out along with the Elite, along with Nick Houseman, and all that, during, CM Punk's nuclear destruction of the AEW locker room and the Elite. He's giving Hangman an opportunity to face Moxley for the title. And people would think, well, that shouldn't be happening if CM Punk name dropped him as one of the people, that, basically called him out for what happened to Colt Cabana. Here's the thing, Tony Khan doing this is a way of taking charge and saying, CM Punk, I love you, I'm a fan of you, but you're not the boss, I am, and if I want to put Page in a main event match for the title against Moxley, even if he doesn't win, I'm going to do it. And hence, here we are. So yeah, there have been examples recently where he's kind of proven that he can be a boss, he can take charge, and that this is his company and that what he says goes. But again, going back to the fact that, he has come out and kind of acknowledged that he's about the fans, he's about the wrestlers and all that, then being about the fans and the wrestlers should indicate and mean, hey, I'm willing to work with you guys and give you what you want. And if the wrestlers that feel they're not getting utilized very well want out of the contract to explore other options and they want out early, then if I'm Tony Khan, to prove I'm on their side, as well as the fans, I would let them have that release. I will let them have the release, even if they still have a few years on the contract. But again, the reason Tony doesn't want to do that, and probably, like I said, gives him the incentive of, hey, you're able to, compete in these kind of promotions if you compete that you wouldn't be able to if you competed, up north with that other company and all that. He gives, Tony's able to give that incentive of like, hey, you have more free will if you're with me, and that is true. But again, a lot of people. But again, even though that's an incentive, they still might want to get out, and Tony needs to, kind of reevaluate his mindset and be like, okay, these people don't want to be here right now. I don't really have much use for them right now. I should let them go. I should let them explore other options, even if it's against my, discretion, even if it's against my own discretion, if you will. But, that's another learning curve he's got to go through. He has to. I mean, I get why he doesn't want to do it. I think we all do. I think we all get why he doesn't want to do it. I mean, WWE's got a lot of momentum now. Triple H is taking it in another direction, a direction that should have been in long ago. The wrestlers there have a little bit more free will in what they could say and do. Not much, but more so than ever. They're having fun again. And you have people that used to work for them that went to AEW because, of course, WWE was run by a senile old man and Vince, who didn't understand that, hey, you gotta be up to date with what's going on and not act like it's still the, 90s and the early 2000s and 80s. It's understandable why they went to AEW, because here's somebody that is, with the now, is up to date, and has shown from, eyewitness reports that it is a fun environment to be on, be part of. But now it's like, the honeymoon phase, of course, is over, and, reality is starting to sit down that maybe what Tony Khan is, in some people's eyes, is just a fan that wants to have the best wrestling roster, not just product, but roster in the world, to prove, hey, a wrestling fan could do a better job than a wrestler or a wrestling promoter, period. But, again, I understand why he doesn't, and again, this is why I understand why he doesn't want to let people go, from the contract, because he knows they might go back to WWE, and by going back there, they might be able to have that freedom, or a little bit of freedom that they used to have once again, and probably be treated in a way that they wanted to be treated originally when they were either under Triple H's watch in NXT or so on. So, so I can understand why he doesn't want that to happen, because he knows it would basically make, him, look kind of foolish for the fact that, he's not providing anymore what he set out to provide when he started, and basically he knows Triple H, just to maybe rub it in his face, would treat them a lot better, or than they were before, under his watch in NXT and stuff. So I get it, but I still think he should reconsider that, hey, maybe I should let these people go if I don't have any use for them. I mean, whether we like it or not, when WWE would release somebody, whether it was because of reasons or not, even if they had years left on the contract, they did it because, again, there were reasons, although that's not totally true. But the other truth of the matter, is because they didn't have anything for them. Even when they had things organized and straightened out, they would let somebody go because they didn't have anything for them. And now with Triple H and his crew running things, they will have things planned out for them. So, again, I get why Tony Khan doesn't want this to happen, because he could pretty much tell, if not sense, that once they go back, they will have something for them. They will have, something for these men and women that go back to the company. So, and by default, it would make him and everybody else in AEW that, got them there, look humiliated, look Bush League, and he doesn't want that. So, but if he's preventing them from going, if they don't want to be there because they know, hey, this is too big of a roster, I can't get any opportunity, and also the fact that they feel like there's nothing for them, then why not just do the right thing and let them go? Maybe he will. Maybe he will eventually. Maybe this is maybe this is another learning curve for him to, take, to kind of reconsider in a new direction, in improving himself as a owner, a promoter, to go for. Like I said, they can, that maybe this is another direction he can learn from and improve on as an owner, and kind of start that, continue that progression from being a fan to being an owner who takes charge no matter what the circumstance. But we'll see what happens. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like. I got to get into work now, guys, and I am out.